Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
All right, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. I am Andrew Kolvet, executive producer of this fine show. And there, of course, is the empty chair of our fallen comrade and our dear friend and brother, Charlie. And here to help honor his legacy is one of his dear friends, Steve Deace. And we're so honored to have you. We were texting back and forth, and you were like, I'm going to move heaven and earth to get here to do this. And we're just so honored to have you. I know Charlie loved you and trusted you, so welcome, my friend.
I appreciate it. It is truly an honor. And I think the appropriate measure of leaving his chair empty, because it just signifies a void that just cannot possibly be filled. And stop by the memorial on the way in. And but the war and the battle still has to go on. And it's up to the rest of us now to all do our part to pick up the pieces and fill the void that his loss leaves. Yeah,
I mean, well said. And I mean, Blake knows there was few very trusted voices in the sort of inner circle that he would hit up for, advice. Where are you at on this? And Steve was one of them. And I know that we got a front row seat to that. And so people have asked me, it's like, well, who are you inviting in? And I'm like, well, the people Charlie loved, and that's been very clear. And I know that, Blake, if you want to chime in, you were not on the show today, so I want to make sure or yesterday, so I want to make sure you're.
Yeah, no, it's Charlie had we talked about the other day how Charlie had this great humility. He was always looking for input from other people. He was always willing to change his mind. He had no embarrassment when he did change his mind, and so he cast a wide net.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
well, it's funny because I mean, I think this is fair to say. I hope I'm not putting. We didn't even talk about that. I was going to bring this up, but during the primary, we sort of had different POVs on stuff, but it was like it never mattered to Charlie, and Charlie was like, "Well, listen, I'm on this. I'm kind of seeing it this way. We love you, and you guys." I mean, just had a great synergy like that.
And he texted me right as soon as it was over, and he said, "Listen, don't quit. We need you. Stay in the game. Stay in the fight. We're going to need you."
Tell me about your shirt.
Oh. So this shirt,
they can't see it for the stream,
there we
but
go.
yeah,
Can you
it says "Go hard."
Yeah. So Charlie was about 6 inches taller than me, and everybody else, for that matter. Yeah. We did a Freedom Night at his church in June, and it's interesting because I had a whole bunch of media call me after his martyrdom because it just got released on social media the day before, and so I think a lot of media thought we had just done this, and we had actually done it a couple of months ago.
Wow.
And just as we were getting introduced to go out on stage, he leaned down into my ear and he said, "Go hard." And Sloan at TPUSA Faith, I texted him when I started getting all these media requests. I'm like, "Hey, what's appropriate? What do you think should do? I don't want to overstep my bounds at all." And Sloan's like, "Well, just do what he whispered in your ear that night. Go hard." And I just thought that is a phenomenal memory. And I had the wife go out and print up a shirt for me.
I love it.
So that I could remember it. And, that's what I've been trying to do ever since, is to honor his memory, is just to go hard. And I think it's a reminder. And if you see, we've lost Vodi Bakum, we've lost Dr. James Dobson, so many spiritual giants this year. And Charlie is obviously a titan among them. And it's another reminder that none of us knows for sure, when it's our time to go. And that's, I think, what we have to do to make sure we use the time we have to be good stewards, to redeem the time, as the word says, and that's to go hard. But it doesn't just mean go hard for truth, Andrew. It means go hard for loving people, go hard for grace, go hard for mercy, just in general for the kingdom, go hard.
Yeah, amen. And so we've got a lot of breaking news stuff to cover on this show. And we're going to do that. And also we have Borders Czar Tom Homan. He's going to be joining us in the second hour in studio, which is phenomenal. But I have to start here, Steve, because I am so insulated in some ways. Like, our days are packed from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. We're just busy. There's so much to work out, so many details, so many phone calls, so many relationships you need to keep up. From the outside looking in, what has this meant? The losing Charlie. What does this mean to the country? What does this mean to the movement? Give me your perspective on what has just transpired.
What just transpired is we had the largest proclamation of the gospel in terms of volume of ears and eyes reached in the history of our species. And what just transpired is even the providential history that I knew Charlie was trying to push us back to as a country, call us back to as a country. And you always have a tendency to look back on the past and kind of view it with nostalgia, as if those people somehow tiptoed between the raindrops and didn't struggle with their own sinfulness and manifestations therein that we do today, and that's not necessarily true. But those are traditions that obviously we are coasting on the fumes of in our time now. And I think even during the most providential times in our nation's history, we have not seen high-ranking figures, including the president and the vice president and cabinet officials, stand up in front of the world and proclaim the gospel as boldly as what happened at the memorial service here a week or so ago. I mean, it's what you're really watching. I think if it's not a revival, Andrew, if we're not watching revival, I think the Holy Spirit is at least testing us to see if we're ready for it. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I was invited to a small gathering of Christian leaders around the country in Dallas, Texas. And it was essentially, hey, where are we as a country, as a culture, where are we headed? And at the end, one of the eldest guys there, it was like a scene out of the Constitutional Convention where Ben Franklin gets up there and says we have to stop and break for prayer as the elder statesman. Because we all said we need revival, we need revival, we need revival. And the elder statesman gets up there and says, are you guys sure you know what you're asking of God? Because we're too comfortable and complacent right now for revival. We won't receive it if he sends it. So if you guys really want God to send revival, then you're asking him to turn up the heat of persecution and suffering to condition us for what it will take for us to truly turn to him. And I think Charlie's martyrdom was at the very first, metaphorically, a shot across the bow of turning up that heat. Yeah. And the amount of people, I mean, I listened to yesterday's show in its entirety, and that opening montage you guys played of young people all over the country. I haven't been to church in ages, never been to church, never picked up a Bible. I'm going now, right? And that is something that Christianity produces, the paradoxical nature of Christianity. It's called redemptive suffering, and no other worldview presents it. And the world's worldview says to avoid suffering and be utilitarian, and the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one, right? Star Trek. Right? But Christianity actually says that the Lord leaves 99 behind to find the one lost sheep. And Charlie's life, I think, embodied that. And that's why you saw so many people that stood up and testified to that at that memorial.
I have a question for you, actually. Why, we saw one of those videos, a guy was like, I put on my suit and I'm going to church. And there was this other story out of Lipscomb Academy where all these high schoolers put on suit jackets and ties to honor. I haven't quite put my finger on what that is. But what do you think that is?
I think it's this idea that maybe I'm standing on holy ground, that I need to clean up my act a little bit. And listen, it's casual Friday at the Steve Deace show every single day. My audience doesn't see me in a sport coat like you wear those,
I know you actually talked about this. You're like, I'm putting on a jacket for Charlie.
I did it for Charlie.
I didn't actually tie that together, but you're right. You did the same.
And I think it's recognition that I need to clean up my act a little bit. I need to raise the standard, and Charlie raised that standard, and now I am challenged to meet that standard now.
Yeah, I think it's a really beautiful thing. I mean, you look back at these videos and movies from the 1950s or the 40s, and everybody's always dressed.
Even at like baseball games and sporting events.
Yeah. They had class and they had dignity, and it's interesting, this impulse that I'm seeing from they could be working the oil fields. They could be like this guy. You could tell he's like, I've never even worn a suit before, but I put it on. I'm going to church. I just think it's an interesting impulse because there is this thing within the culture. We've gotten so lazy, lethargic. We've gotten so casual. And there's a part of that, like, listen, there's a time and a place, but the fact that people feel called higher, I think, is a really beautiful thing. I'm just going to go to one of our partners now, Steve, because they had been so gracious with us and so patient. And I mentioned yesterday we're trying to get back to some regular orders. So I just want to give a shout out to our media partners, our network partners that have been patient with this show and patient as we've gotten back into the swing of talking about some of our partners that make this show work, and we want to honor them. And so here we go. This is Done with Debt. When you're buried in credit card and loan debt, it's human nature to put it off and say, I'm going to deal with that later. If that's you, here is a hidden fact that debt strategy experts at Done With Debt shared with me. They discovered a little-known strategy that works in your favor to dramatically reduce or even erase your debt altogether. They aggressively engage everyone you owe money to this fall. So right now, and here's why. They know which lenders and credit card companies are doing year-end accounting and need to cut deals. They even know which ones have year-end audits and need to get your debt off their books. That means you need to get started with Done With Debt now. So go to donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Tell them the Charlie Kirk Show sent you. More with Steve Deace and Blake Neff when we get back.